Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Band Together Leadership. My name is Paul Everts. Thanks you for joining us today. Today I'm recording this on the 18th of May. It's about 3:45 p.m. From Roseville, California. You can reach me at my email address, which is BAND, the number 2, Comcast.net. Also, please join me at my website, conductingmylife.com, where you can get the book, Conducting My Life. Love you to get the book. Also, take a look at the curriculum. Go to curriculum. You'll see that I'm a Maxwell leadership team member. I'm certified to coach, to speak, and to train people on the curriculum offered by John Maxwell. I'd love to do that. We had a successful one on April 30th in beautiful Visalia, California. It went so well, we're planning another one about parenting on the 27th of August, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., the First Presbyterian Church of Visalia. We're going to go again, Band Together Visalia. Again, that's August 27th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. More information to follow. I hope to fill the room. We have 100 people. That's the limit for us, and then we'll go from there. We had 75 on April the 30th. We can hopefully get 100. So I look forward to that. Today we're ending the book, Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by the awesome John Maxwell. It's been great sharing this with you. I can't believe that means we've been doing this for 21 weeks or thereabout. So that's months, man. And it's been a joy sharing with you what he writes. And this is an important book. I would buy the book if I were you. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. It's a super book, and it's well worth the money. All right, so here we go. The law of legacy. A leader's lasting value is measured by succession. In 1997, one of the finest business leaders in the world died. His name was Roberto Goizueta, and he was the chairman and chief executive of the Coca-Cola Company. In a speech he gave to the Executives Club of Chicago a few months before he died, Goizueta, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, Roberto, there you go, made this statement. He said, "A billion hours ago, human life appeared on Earth. A billion minutes ago, Christianity emerged. A billion seconds ago, the Beatles performed on the Ed Sullivan Show. A billion Coca-Colas ago was yesterday morning. And the question we are asking ourselves now is, what must we do to make a billion Coca-Colas ago this morning?" End of quote. Making Coca-Cola the best company in the world was Roberto's lifelong quest, one he was still pushing diligently when he suddenly unexpectedly died. Companies that lose a CEO often go into turmoil, especially if his departure is unexpected, as Roberto's was. Shortly after his death, Roberto said in an interview with Atlanta, shortly before his death, he said in an interview with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that retirement was, quote, "not on my radar screen. As long as I'm having fun, as long as I am having the, what did he say? Oh, gotta move the book. The energy necessary, as long as I'm keeping people from their day in the sun, and as long as the board wants me to stay, I will stay," end of quote. And just months after that interview, he was diagnosed with cancer. 6 weeks later, he died. Upon Roberto's death, former President Jimmy Carter observed, quote, "Perhaps no corporate leader in modern times has so beautifully exemplified the American dream." Roberto believed that in America, all things are possible. He lived that dream. And because of his extraordinary leadership skills, he helped thousands of others realize their dreams as well. His legacy. The legacy left to the company by Roberto is incredible. When he took over Coca-Cola in 1981, the company's value was $4 billion. Under his leadership, it rose to $150 billion. That's an increase in value of more than 3,500%. Coca-Cola became the second most valuable corporation in America, ahead of the car makers, the oil companies, Microsoft, Walmart, and all the rest. The only company more valuable was General Electric. Many of Coke's stockholders became millionaires many times over. Emory University in Atlanta, whose portfolio contains a large block of Coca-Cola stock, now has an endowment comparable to that of Harvard. But high stock value was not the most significant thing Roberto gave to the Coca-Cola company. Instead, it was the way he lived the law of legacy. When the CEO's death was announced, there was no panic among Coca-Cola stockholders. Payne Weber analyst Emmanuel Goldman said that Guazeta prepared the company for his not being there as well as any executive I have ever seen. How did he do it? Well, first, by making the company as strong as he possibly could. Second, by preparing a successor for the top position named Douglas Ivester. Mickey H. Gramig, writer for the Atlanta Constitution, reported, quote, unlike some companies which face a crisis when the top executive leaves or dies, Coca-Cola is expected to retain its status as one of the world's most admired corporations. Goizueta had groomed Ivester to follow his footsteps since Georgia native's 1994 appointment to the company's number 2 post. And as an indication on how strongly Wall Street felt about Coca-Cola's footings, the company's stock barely rippled 6 weeks ago when Roberto was diagnosed with lung cancer. End of quote. Doug Ivester, an accountant by training, started his career with Coca-Cola in 1979 as the assistant controller. 4 years later, Doug Ivester was named chief financial officer. He was known for his exceptional financial creativity, and he was a major force in Roberto's ability to revolutionize the company's approach to investment and the handling of debt. By 1989, so that's 10 years, Roberto must have decided that Ivester had untapped potential because he moved him out of his strictly financial role and sent him to Europe to obtain operating and international experience. A year later, Roberto brought him back and named him president of Coca-Cola USA, where he oversaw expenditures and marketing. From there, he continued to groom Ivester. And in 1994, so that's 15 years, there could be no doubt that Ivester would follow Roberto into the top position. Roberto made him president and chief operating officer. What Roberto did was very unusual. Few chief executives of companies today develop strong leaders and groom them to take over the organization. John S. Wood, a consultant for Egon Zehnder International Incorporated, has noted that, quote, companies have not in the recent past been investing as heavily in bringing up people up. If they're not able to grow them, they have to go get them, end of quote. So why was Roberto different? He was product of the law of legacy. Roberto was born in Cuba and educated at Yale, where he earned a degree in chemical engineering. When he returned to Havana in 1954, he answered a newspaper ad for a bilingual chemist. The company hiring turned out to be Coca-Cola. By 1966, that's the year I was born, he had become vice president of technical research and development at the company's headquarters in Atlanta. He was the youngest man ever to hold such a position in the company. By the early 1970s, something even more important happened. Robert W. Woodruff, the patriarch of Coca-Cola, took Roberto under his wing and began developing him. In 1975, Roberto became the executive vice president of the company's technical division and took on other corporate responsibilities, such as overseeing legal affairs. And in 1980, with Woodruff's blessing, Roberto became president and chief operating officer. 1 year later, he was chairman and chief executive. The reason Roberto so confidently selected, developed, and groomed a successor in the 1990s is that he was building on the legacy that he had received in the 1970s. Leaders who leave a legacy of succession. Roberto said, leadership is one of the things you cannot delegate. You either exercise leadership or you abdicate it. End of quote. John Maxwell believes there is a third choice. You pass legacy or you pass leadership on to your successor. That's a choice Roberto exercised. Leaders who practice the law of legacy are rare, but the ones who do have a legacy of succession for their organization by doing the following. They lead the organization with a long view. They create a leadership culture. They pay the price today to assure success tomorrow. There is no success without sacrifice. The next one, value team leadership above individual leadership. No matter how good he is, no leader can do it alone. Just as in sports, a coach needs a team of good players to win. An organization needs a team of good leaders to succeed. The larger the organization, the stronger, larger, and deeper the team of leaders needs to be. How about walk away from the organization with integrity? Integrity, walk away. And then we have few leaders pass it on. Max Dupree, author of Leadership is an Art, declared succession is one of the key responsibilities of leadership. Yet all the laws of leadership, the law of the legacy is the one that the fewest leaders seem to learn. Achievement comes to someone when he is able or she is able to do great things for himself or herself. Success comes when he or she empowers followers to do great things with him or her. Significance comes when he or she develops leaders to do great things for him or her. But a legacy is created only when a person puts his organization or her organization into the position to do great things without him or her. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, that's why it's so important. If you are a leader of people, be it a father, mother, father, mother, you have successors behind you. They need your leadership. They need good role models. They need good mentoring. They need your help and support. Here's another thing to think about too. As we close our book today, as our last chapter. People are always watching you, and studies will show people do more from what they see than what they hear. Are you the leader you want others to be? You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. Trust me, I'm not perfect. However, I strive to love people. And love, can make up for a lot of shortcomings. I have loved sharing this with you. I would love to be with you. And I hope you've loved the experience of going through John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. May I remind you to begin with the end in mind, such as leaving a legacy. What legacy you're going to leave. That depends on the choices you make. Make good choices and then accept responsibility for your life. Don't give it to somebody else. First, understand, then be understood. And then finally, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I care about you greatly. That's why I do these videos. We'll find another John Maxwell book. Take a similar journey or a similar trip, because there's an ending to a book. So the trip is an ending. But the journey of getting better, there's no end. Okay, I love you very much. Thanks a lot for being with me today. And thanks a lot for supporting me. Have a great day.